Hey, Bill Lethman here for Money Evolution. This is going to be a brand new topic that I'm going to be covering. We're going to call it eMoney Mondays. So eMoney is the financial planning software that we use for all of our financial planning that we do with clients, either working with them one-on-one using the Money Evolution plan, which is our high-end financial planning program, as well as the Retirement Time Machine, which kind of combines a little bit of education along with a little bit of a DIY experience. So something I've talked about in many other videos, and maybe you've experienced this as well. So if you're planning for retirement, you may have felt this, that there's a lot of moving pieces to retirement. There's a lot of different things that you need to be thinking about, and especially in the years leading up to retirement and in the early stages of retirement, trying to keep track of all this can be just a little bit overwhelming. So having a tool like eMoney and a piece of software that can really help bring it all together can kind of overcome some of that overwhelm. So what I'm going to be doing is sharing my screen here in just a second, and we're going to be diving into the software and how we do this as far as getting yourselves organized for retirement. So here we have our client portal, and so if you're a client of ours on the Money Evolution plan or the Retirement Time Machine, this is essentially an access point where you're going to be able to see all of this together. You get a nice little home screen. If you want to link accounts, you have the ability to do that, so you can basically bring information in real time. Every day it'll go out and get new balances and positions, so it's a great way to get everything together in one spot. There's some really great reporting here. I'm just going to show you two of the reports in this video. The first one I'm going to go into is going to be the net worth statement. And if you've never done a net worth statement or really kind of just take an inventory of all of your assets, this is really a great way to just get a good high-level view of everything that's going on. So we separate assets into a couple of different categories. That's going to be really important, especially when we start getting into some of the advanced tax planning, because it's going to depend on whether you're taking money from a non-retirement account or a retirement account like a traditional, or if you're taking a Roth account, of course that would be tax-free as long as that's qualified. But here we can see our hypothetical client, Steve and Sandy Bishop. We've got non-qualified assets here, checking and savings accounts. They've got some non-retirement brokerage account money, and then most of their money, like maybe you, maybe a lot of our clients, where it's mostly in 401k plans or IRA accounts. They've got a little bit in some Roth and even an annuity in here. That's also going to show your house, some of your personal assets like your cars and things like that. But what I want to really highlight here is going to be the cash flow statement. And you may have heard me talk about it in other videos, but cash flow is really the centerpiece of all financial planning, especially retirement planning, because it's all about money coming in, money going out, understanding what's really happening in your financial situation year to year. And especially as you go into retirement and you need to start taking those retirement withdrawals, this is really going to be that roadmap for telling you how much money you need to take out of your portfolio every year. So we have some graphs up here at the top that just kind of show what's going on. The one on the left shows money coming in, which is that green line, while they're both still working. Of course, you have more money coming in, or hopefully you have more money coming in than it's going out. Like most of our clients, you have a little bit more money going out in the early phase of retirement, especially if you're retiring early before Social Security kicks in. And we can see that represented here where the expenses are higher than the money coming in. And then probably the most important graph in the entire financial plan is going to be this one right here, which is our portfolio assets over time. And it's really just showing what's happening to the portfolio assets. And if that number, graph is going up, that's showing that there's more money later on. If that money were to start going down, or you had a bunch of white space over here, that would indicate you're running out of money, essentially. And then again, with all of these different moving pieces and everything that are going on, we're going to show the detail of that essentially down here in the table below. So of course we have the year, both of their ages. They're in their mid-50s. I'm in my mid-50s. I'm going to be 54 this year in 2025. But we see from everything to the left of that center line, that's going to be money coming in. I don't know why my screen's jumping around like that, but we've got money coming in, and then the expenses and the planned savings is going to be money going out. Essentially, inflows minus outflows equals your net cash flow. So the second column from the right, when that's black, that means there's more money coming in than is going out. That's excess money. So you could look at, saving some, money in different accounts, maybe doing a Roth IRA account or whatever makes sense. Or if your retirement's on track, you could spend some of that money and enjoy doing some extra travel and things in the years before you retire. You don't have to wait till you retire to spend some of that money. Most importantly, though, we see that number go from black to red, and that starts to be how much money you need to take out of the portfolio each year. So when it's red, that's telling us how much that withdrawal needs to be, and that really creates the centerpiece for creating that retirement income strategy for you. We can also get into a lot of detail here too, so we can click into those columns and really see, again, all those moving pieces that you're maybe trying to keep track of in your head. We can see while they're working, they both have some employment income. Again, there's just 1 year difference in age, but some spouses are maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years different. You may work longer than your spouse, and that changes the cash flow as that happens, and we can see that a little bit here. Steve's going to work a little bit part-time in retirement, so we see that coming in here. He's going to get a pension, and then eventually they'll get some Social Security benefits. We have it here in the plan that they'll start at their full retirement age, which for Steve and Sandy is age 67, but you can play around with that, bump it up to 62 if you're trying to fill a little bit more of a cash flow gap early on, see what it looks like if you extend it out to age 70, which is the maximum age for Social Security where you get the full unreduced benefit there. And then we can go back to our table here, and then we see something similar when we start looking at the expenses. Lots happening here. We've got living expenses, which is going to be the expenses that are going to be there every year. They have a mortgage. Looks like that's going to be paid off in about 4 or 5 years. And you may have these things too. So when that mortgage is paid off, that's going to be a bigger amount of positive cash flow, and that may be opening up opportunities for you to save that money if you still need to get your retirement back on track. Real estate expenses are broken out here separately. And then we have other expenses where we can really get into a lot of detail here. Things like a wedding or Sarah's soccer for a couple years. College expenses can be in here. If you've got a 529 plan, we can actually show that 529 plan paying for those college expenses, and that would show up here as a positive in the cash flow report. They've got an anniversary trip coming up, eventually Medicare expenses, but before they retire, before they're eligible for Medicare rather, they're going to have some pre-Medicare expenses, and that's likely going to be more than the Medicare. So all of these moving pieces we can really keep track of, and you can really build this out however you want, and it's very easy to do. Again, you'll have access to a portal like this, but if you go into these categories here, you can go into income and expenses, and you can play around with this and say, hey, what if we want to add some more travel, or what if we want to do some more entertainment expenses. Maybe you want it to just be for a certain period of time. So you can do what are called future expenses, and that's where you could go in there and say, hey, you know what, for the first 10 years of retirement, we're going to spend an extra $10,000. We're going to start knocking off some of those bucket list trips off, and we're going to put that in. So you can do something like that, or add that anniversary trip like we have here, and put the year that you want that to come in. But anyway, so I hope that was helpful, getting a little bit of an idea. But whether you do something like what we're doing here with the retirement time machine or the Money Evolution plan using some high-end software, or you're building your own spreadsheet, having this roadmap essentially to see all of those different moving pieces, what's coming in, what's going out for expenses, is absolutely critical to your retirement. And it really, if you felt overwhelmed or even stressed out about retirement, getting that all out there, understanding the moving pieces of your retirement, I think can be especially valuable. So anyway, if you want to learn more about that, you want to learn more about the financial planning programs that we have through Money Evolution, we'll put some links down in the description below, or you can head over to moneyevolution.com, learn about that, check out some of our other videos, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you back in one of our next videos. Thanks.